John?
Along those lines, give us your thoughts about how you think the redevelopment agency remaining funds should be spent.
I think that the RDA money should go back into trying to get our main corridor cleaned back up. And I don't know how many businesses have actually applied for that, but I think it's pretty sad that we have, like, when you come off the exit and you come down through what used to be old downtown Mesquite, where the general store is, around the corner and stuff there. If I was considering building a business here in Mesquite, I would think, well, this place doesn't have much to offer. It needs to be cleaned up. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, let's go paint all the buildings blue or whatever color somebody chooses. I'm saying we needed to do a downtown beautification project. And I think that's what redevelopment stands for. Now, the general store, if you look at it, they used those funds and they used them wisely. It's a beautiful location. It's a beautiful building. People also need to find out about how they go about getting those funds. I know there are ways to do it, and it can't be that hard. They do have to have matching funds. They can't just come in and expect the city to pay for everything. But maybe some of those funds could be used to help clean some of that stuff up. That would make that area down there look a lot more inviting.
Okay. You've kind of touched on the next subject here. There's been a lot of talk about doing something to improve the downtown district. You just you know, said you weren't sure how many businesses actually applied for the RDA after the city's recent push, and the number is 1.
And that's really sad because people want to yell a lot, but they don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get, if I had the answer to get them how to get down there and apply and use that money wisely, then I would just do it. But how do you get those people involved? The ones that don't want to be involved aren't going to be involved. Mm-hmm. And it is really sad. I don't think that tearing down, I mean, when the CDC, and I don't even know if it still exists, when the CDC was trying to get something done, I think that their attitude of let's go paint buildings and bulldoze buildings, you know, that was what people were thinking. I don't think that was the right approach. I lived in Arlington, Washington, and one of their approaches was maybe to take these old buildings and turn them into, use the artist groups, use some of these groups and turn them into murals, turn them into, like Harley's Garage, repaint it on the outside so that it looked like, you know, the old garage. Give somebody something to look at. Do something that adds interest, you know. Apparently there's a lot of problems with tearing that building down because of hazmat and the soils and other things. So it's kind of like being between a rock and a hard place. So what do? You know, if the world hands you a lemon, let's try to make lemonade.
Okay. All right, John?
Kind of following up on that, would you give us your thoughts on the proposed pilot Flying J project?
Well, I think I've been pretty clear on how I feel about that.
Maybe not specifically that project itself, but, you know, in a broader sense of, you know, some of the controversy that was created by the public over that project.
I think if you really talked to a lot of people, as was evidenced by the comments on Mesquite Citizen Journal, lots of times it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. And so there were people that were jumping up and down and worrying about traffic and so many things that, you know, Flying J Pilot had already said they could completely take care of. It wouldn't be a problem. And as a truck driver, and I do still currently hold a CDL, and my husband's a truck driver, and I spent 7 years on the road with him. During the times when people were most concerned about these traffic problems, you know what? Those truck drivers are out on the road driving. If my husband is sitting still right now, we're not making a living. That truck stop would be almost empty during the day when kids were in school, when people were doing their grocery shopping, etc. It would be late at night and in the evening when the trucks would start rolling in and would cause some traffic. But never once, unless there was a freeway closure, a blizzard or something, have I seen 500 trucks roll into one truck stop at one time. It just doesn't happen, folks. I don't know what else to say about that issue other than the fact that I think people overreacted, and
what about the project itself in a broader macroeconomic point of view for, you know, overall businesses in Mesquite and the involvement of the public and the government in a private business dealing?
Well, you see, I had a real problem with that, because how do we get to tell Mesquite Gaming who they can sell their property to, and the people that buy it, how can we... It'd be kind of like me going back and telling the RJ how to run the newspaper now. You sell it, but you got to tell them what they can and can't do with it. Now, I realized that there were a couple of parcels on that land that weren't zoned properly, and they had to work through that. But I really think that it's just like I said before. And when I say before, read old issues of Mesquite Citizen Journal. Because, and I've said this, and that is that, you know what? They are going to come in and do what they need to do on that level. And when the government gets involved and the people get involved, I think it's wrong. Maybe I should shorten that answer. I can get a little worked up on that one. You know, okay. Well, I'm just saying, I really think that we lost a great opportunity. I think that it would have created jobs. I think it would have helped local businesses. And I said that before. The truck drivers would utilize all of the things that are across the street from there. The truck drivers are going to, you know, even the hair salons. We used to look for places to go get your hair cut, because, you know, my husband could look pretty shaggy sometimes. So, but if you're out on the road 2 or 3 months, you need some place to do that. Laundry services, grocery stores, all things that truck drivers need. And as was pointed out by the Flying J Pilot people, let's face it, what is it, 3 out of 4 of their customers are in automobiles anyway. They're families that are on trips wanting to stop and grab, you know, go to the restroom, grab a drink, grab something to eat. And wouldn't it be wonderful if they got off that exit, they came in and they're going to see our great new Taco Bell, and they're going to see this beautiful truck stop, and across the street they'll see the Eureka and the, you know, the Virgin River, and they go, oh, this looks like a cool place to visit.
Okay.
Did I even answer the question?
I think you did there somewhere. I'm not sure, but we'll find it. We'll find it.